Well, behind the scenes this month takes you to the new track there up in Suffolk, Mildenhall. And there you can see as our camera sweeps round, you see the wide, easy running bends there. It's almost like a circular track, bordering on oval of course, but a nice purpose-built greyhound track. There's a view of the kennels, that young dog there anxious to get out and get on with the job. View of the racing kennels, all purpose-built, don't forget, and it's marvellous to welcome new tracks into the NGRC fold, on permit of course, at Mildenhall. There's the paddock area and the row of racing kennels, and we were there for a trial session. The runners there going down to the first bend, and the handlers, or track handlers at least, hurriedly getting those traps off the starting area. And there's the hare, and outside Sumner hare fitted and promoted there. Dick Partridge mucking in, throwing down the dummy, picks up the real hare, because they do cost a few bob to replace if they get damaged, and they are, believe me, easily damaged. The runners all coming home safe and sound. Trap 3 there, wagging his tail, looking like he could go round again, and probably could. And Trap 1 also joining in. We asked the promoter, Dick Partridge, what was the background to Mildenhall Stadium?
Yeah, 1972, this was where we're standing, was basically a field with just a speedway track surrounded by straw bales, and that was when my interest in the stadium, first became apparent. I came up here just to ride a bike, and I've watched the place develop into what it is ever since.
And what gave you the idea to put a greyhound track around it?
Well, the stadium in the late 80s declined dramatically, I think it's fair to say, and it obviously, to support the development that needed doing, there had to be more than one sport here. And the beauty of greyhound racing is that it does attract reasonable crowds, and you can run maybe 150 meetings a year.
You were telling me earlier you're not exactly a dog man yourself.
No, I've never had much involvement with greyhounds, but now that I've got involved on the promotion side, I'm finding it interesting and just determined to do a good job.
So what's your sort of schedule for the first few months anyway?
Well, we're starting on Saturday the 21st with our first meeting, and running Saturdays and Wednesdays for a start. But obviously we'll review the kennel strength, and if people wants to run a third day, we will do.
So will it be a grand opening on Saturday, or are you going to phase them in gradually, as it were?
No, it's going to be fairly low key. We'll keep the grand opening for when we've actually got all the wheels turning correctly how we want it, rather than have a grand opening and have it maybe become a grand cock up. We'll get the staff all run in first, and then have a grand opening in a few weeks.
Right, we've been watching a few dogs trial this afternoon, this morning even. How many dogs do you think you have in your strength come Saturday?
I think we'll have ample for the first meeting or two. I can't put a figure on it. That's the racing officers have to ask that, but it's getting up well into three figures now.
And what are your two standard trips here?
We've got 375 and 550 metres, which are not bad distances really.
Well, 375 metres for a four-bend trip seems quite sharp, and we've had a few comparisons of this track to Crayford. What would you say to that?
Well, I haven't actually been to Crayford, so I can't comment actually on that, but the straights are short in comparison to the bends, but the beauty of it is that the bends are easy bends. They're not a sharp bend. They're quite a long bend with an easy curve for the dogs to get through.
But the idea will be that the dog will have to sort of keep galloping around the bend, so you need quite a well-balanced animal.
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, my knowledge of dogs actually isn't quite as good as yours yet, but we haven't noticed any dogs having too much of a struggle around them yet.
Well, going back to the speedway aspect, you're still going to run speedway meetings?
Yes, we do run speedway practice here every Sunday at the moment. One thing that we're very conscious of is that the greyhound track must be properly covered to keep the speedway shale off. I know that's important to the greyhound owners. It's something we're very conscious of, and we do make a determined effort to keep the greyhound track clean.
Right. Will you be having a vet here in attendance every meeting?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I think that's vital, really, in fairness to the animals concerned.
Yes, vital indeed. Not only do they look after the greyhounds up there at Mildenhall, but also the punters, and there you can see them at this special trial session in the main bar area situated on the crown of the first bend. Only sell the best up there at Mildenhall. Look, we're there too, the Greyhound Month. Loads of booze, well-stocked bars, as you can see. One of the problems there, though, is that not only do they have an outside Sumner here, they're outside aeroplanes, because the track is in the direct flight path of the nearby RAF base, and these jets here roar past at regular intervals, and they're very, very noisy indeed. And they come over, as I say, all the time. We asked racing manager Colin Ayres what sort of greyhounds would be suited to the track.
Well, naturally, I suppose it would suit a Veiler, but there again, I've never seen a dog run so wide, too wide around here yet. They're all running pretty well, actually. Surprising, really. Running very well.
Are the bends banked that much?
Yeah, not bad bends. Yeah, it's a good track in general. I think it's very good.
So you mentioned 23.90 was a good time for the 370.
Yes, right,
Is it a
yes.
375?
Yes, right, 375.
And what's a good time for the 6-bend trip?
We've had a dog do 35.56, which is a very good run. I think, if I remember off the top of my head, I think it was Terry's Fancy, I think it's called. Done 35.56, which is a good run.
Right, and we noticed this morning when you were trialling a couple of very noisy jets taking off from a nearby RAF base. What happens if that happens on race night?
Well, if we know the jet's coming over, we should definitely hold the race up for a couple of minutes till it's gone.
So it's rather like SIS delaying a dog race for a horse race. You're delaying a race for a jet.
That's right, yes, that's it. Yes,
It's an unusual angle.
it is, yeah.
And do you intend holding open races here soon?
Definitely, yes, oh yes. Once we get into the swing of it, we should have open races, yes. Definitely.
So the general sort of feeling is here you've been well supported by local trainers. Do you think people will actually travel here to support your opens?
I think so, yes. I think they will.
Mildenhall racing manager there, Colin Ayres. Well, already the track have switched their midweek race night to a Wednesday from Tuesdays. That's because of popular opinion to avoid a clash with Peterborough. But a nice track, well worth a visit, a nice way to spend an evening, and not easy to find though. So the suggestion is that you give the track a ring before you set out on your journey. The number is 0638 711 777. Once more, 0638 711 777.